Welcome back guys, Slybacon here, and welcome back to another multiplayer battle replay. So about a week ago I had a question on one of the other videos. And the question was, how do you deal with Gauble cheese and how do you deal with Pegasus cheese? So I'm really just going to be focused on how to deal with the Gauble cheese as far as Greenskins go. Now first off, let me just say that I don't believe there is such a thing as Gauble cheese, but what I assume the person was meaning by Gauble cheese was either 2 or 3 Gaubles, right? So we're going to be focusing on the 2 Gauble setup from the Beastmen, mainly because you don't really see the 3 Gauble setup very often. You know, maybe 5% of the matches against Beastmen you'll actually see 3 Gaubles, but the ways you deal with them with the 2 Gaubles is exactly the same way that you deal with them with the 3 Gaubles. So, you know, it kind of works out evenly, right? Whatever way you can kill 2, you can kill 3 just as easily. So, with that in mind, I just want to go over, like, real quick, like, what kind of mindset do you need when you're trying to figure out a way to actually counteract strengths of your opponents and really, like, how do you actually counteract what quote-unquote cheesy players? But in this case, I think it's just strong builds from your opponent rather than actual cheesy ones. So we've got a couple of ways you can actually kind of deal with that type of play. The first one, if you do believe the other opponent is actually a cheeser, just take a note of their name and just don't play them. That's the easiest way to deal with cheesy players, right? Just don't play them again. But with that in mind, if you do want to just, like, how do you beat a specifically strong build from your opponent? The first way, and there's 2 ways that I like to think of it, right? So the first one is just to remove your weakness. And in this example, obviously we're coming up against Gaubles. So Gaubles, of course, very, very powerful heroes. Either the strongest or the second strongest hero currently, kind of tied, I would guess, with the Werekin, and people have different opinions on which one of those is the strongest, but both of those 2 are definitely the strongest heroes that are currently in the game. So yeah, Gauble's obviously very, very strong on foot. So how do you remove your weakness to that? Well, there's a couple of ways. Obviously, bring your Lord in the air. That removes the power on the ground, right? Bring your Lord on a very fast mount. And depending on what faction you're playing, of course, some of those things will work and some of them won't. But yeah, put your Lord up in the air. That removes, obviously, him being out-muscled on the ground. Put your Lord on a mount and just keep him away from the Gaubles as best you can. As far as Gaubles go in this specific example, I really like to just bring a Flying Lord against the Beastmen. That's the easiest way to deal with Gaubles. Just bring a Flying Lord and they can't bloody hit your Lord, right? The other way you can deal with it, and I'm actually going to do that in tomorrow's video. I'm going to split this type of thing up into 2 different videos. There's this one, then I'll show you another replay again tomorrow as well. The other way is just to overpower your opponent's strength. And depending on your faction and who you're going up against, you might be able to do that, you might not. It really just depends on exactly who you're going up against and what strength you kind of counter. Like, in this example, we can kind of overpower the Gaubles with the Greenskins. And again, I'll show you that in tomorrow's video. But if you're coming up, say, against Britannia with a really heavy cav force, you're not going to be able to overpower that. Maybe the Empire could with a lot of demis, but most races won't be able to overpower a really strong Britannia cavalry force. So in that example, you probably want to get rid of your cavalry. How do you eliminate your opponent's strength? Give him nothing to attack, right? Give him nothing that his units are really good against. So that's basically the 2 ways I think of it when I'm trying to, like, overcome the strengths of my opponent is, can I remove my weakness to their strength, or can I overpower their strength with my strength, basically? So that's the 2 ways I'm going to look at it. Right, so the first matchup today, we've got myself up against Don Metalhold. Can I see his name? Can I? No, I can't. All right, I can't. But yeah, Don obviously is a subscriber of mine, and he subscriber actually on YouTube and on Twitch for that matter. And obviously we play him a lot against, well, we play against him a lot, I suppose, on stream and stuff like that. So he's a very good player. And big thank you to him for actually taking a couple of matches against me, so I didn't have to sit in quick battles for ages and trying to actually find an opponent that was going to play the Beastman. And the only stipulation that I had for him, as far as picking his army and stuff goes, was he had to have at least 2 Gaubles. So he's done that, which is beautiful. Right, let's go through my army, and I'm going to talk about my army in a wee bit more detail than what I normally would, and, you know, kind of focus on my strengths and weaknesses for the army, and basically why I've deployed like I've deployed and all that type of stuff. So my army is 1, 2, 3, 4 units of Orc Biggins, not Savage Orc Biggins, mind you, Orc Biggins, 2 units of Black Orcs, Rusty Arrows, 2 units of Goblin Archers, we've got 2 units of Orc Boy Biggins, we've got 2 Goblin Big Bosses, both on their spiders, we've got Azag up in the air, There we are. We're removing my opponent's strength by bringing Azak up in the air. He has, we should probably say that, Spirit Leech and Doom and Darkness, 2 spells which are very, very good against the Beastmen. For those of you who may be new to my channel, this is actually my favourite matchup in all of Warhammer at the moment. And I like it from either side, because both of these factions are just smash heads against each other, and whoever's got the strongest head wins, right? There's not a lot of tactical decisions to be made in these matchups, but they're fun because it's just 2 brute strength forces going head to head against each other. And that's also why I'm really looking forward to the Lizardmen, because I think the Lizardmen are going to be a very, very similar style of play as well. Just, just a brute strength faction. Tactics be damned, right? Tactics be damned. Just go and smash them as hard as you can, and if you survive, you survive. If not, you're not, right? Right. All right. And we've also brought the Night Goblin Shaman with, of course, Itchy Nuisance and Sneaky Stealing to try and get rid of some of his magic. And out on the flank, we've got the 8-Peak Loonies. Regiment of Renown, of course, for the Night Goblins are pretty much unbreakable. That's why those boys are out there. So the reason I've deployed as I've deployed, you notice I've got the Blackhawk split. That's because I don't want a spell from him hitting both my units of Blackhawk, so there's a bit of space in between these two. And this flank out this side is kind of just my holding flank. These guys just need to hold. So I've got the Unbreakable unit and 2 units of Alt Boy Biggins out here just to hold this side, because that's not where my real power is. These guys, again, just are there just to hold that line for as long as possible. My power's obviously on this side with the cavalry and, of course, with the archers coming in here as well. All right, let's have a look at old Donnie's army, shall we? He's brought a couple of vanguarded units, so we're going to grab those in a minute. He's got 2 units of Ungor Spearherd with shields. 2 units of Goreherd with shields. Actually, that's 3 units of Ungor Spearherd with shields. Obviously, that one hidden in the centre there. He's got the Razor Goreherd. He's brought the piggies. Gotta love the piggies. 2 units of Goreherd in there as well. We've got the Brave Shaman of Death with Purple Sun and Spirit Leech. Quite nice, quite nice. Leading the way with Morgor, of course, all of his lovely summoning in abilities. Morgor, of course, still the best lord for the Beastman that you can actually bring. And the 2 Gorbles, as I specified that he had to bring, so those ones are there. He's got a couple of units vanguarded out here. For those of you guys who don't know what this map is, this is my favourite map in Warhammer, except for this part. If you guys have watched me on stream, I've done this so many times on stream. This freaking tree annoys me so much, because it's just up on top of this tower thing for no reason. There's no dirt up here. And, a couple of people were like, wow, it might have grown from the ground. It didn't, right? There's 2 trees in this damn tower. So that one. This is the bottom of that tree, right? And then we come down and there's a second tree down there. There's the second tree. Yeah, okay. Nothing to do with the match. I just wanted to show you that. Right, get back over here, Sly. Get back over here. Right, those vanguarded units, let's go back and have a look at those. We've got 2 units of Gore who shield vanguarded up here in the forest. Very, very nice. With this map, if you deploy on the side that he's deployed on, you can vanguard down here, you can vanguard across here, and you can also vanguard over that side. This side here has the advantage because if you do vanguard over here, you also have tree cover, so you can kind of be really sneaky about it and then just push up in here. I didn't kind of think about that when we were setting up the match. I probably should have, because that's what I like to do from that side as well. You can vanguard, obviously. I can vanguard up here, across here, and over this side here as well. But that vanguard is not as optimal as this side, because obviously you've got tree cover on this side. You can actually hide. If you're bringing like Gobbos, Nasty Skulkers, that type of thing as far as the Greenskins goes, something that has stalk, right, you can vanguard here, and obviously you'll be fine until you get a bit closer into range. All right, let's get into the action, boys. Let's get into the action. Alright, I just really love this map because, there's a lot of plains and then there's just this wee hill that you can kind of fight over to get, the downhill uphill advantage. And, I don't know, I just really like it. I really like the aesthetic, I really like the way it looks, all that type of good stuff. Right, coming into a Spirit Leech duel to start us off. I didn't actually think he had the Brave Shaman of Death when we first started, but that's fine. Obviously, we've noticed it now. And I should say as well, he's on the chariot, so that's obviously going to come into play a little bit later on. Leading the way with the Gorbles. Yeah, we don't like that play. Don't like that play. Look, they are strong, but we don't like that play. Now, I've had to reposition my cavalry back over here because I need them to deal with this chariot, right? Even though these 2 units here are, of course, anti-large, chariot will just run straight through them, so... Chat will just run straight through them. Push forward with that Night Goblin Big Boss, trying to get as much damage out there as we can. Here comes the spell. I think it's mine. Itchy Nuisance coming down. Yeah, just to reduce the damage of those Gorbles. Look at that melee attack. Coming down to 2 melee attack. So good. I believe there's a plus 10% chance to hit, regardless of your actual chance to hit on here. I think the minimum it go down to is 10%, I believe. Yeah, look at this side, just holding there. Goreherd with shields are not going to match up to the Biggins, of course. Biggins are very, very strong. As you can see, this, this chariot is just pushing through. But here comes one of the real power plays against the Beastmen, is Doom and Darkness. We've dropped to Doom and Darkness, and we're going to recharge into this line as well. Just to try and break them, get that fear and all that terror stuff going. Trying to smash through just as fast as we can. Here comes my cavalry coming in. Get on top of that chariot, boy. Yeah, look how fast it goes down once we're in there. That chariot, not the chariot, the cavalry, of course, is just there to just tie that thing down so the actual Biggins can do a lot of damage. Now, here's one way you can deal with Gorballs, right? They do have a good amount of armor, but we've got the rusty arrows, of course, and look at this range damage just piling in there. Look how much damage it's getting done. These are just gobos, right? That's a grand, basically, worth of goblin archers there. Obviously, a Gorball is about a grand as well, but look how much damage we're just pumping into him. He's not going to be able to get out of there. As they're coming in, doing a nice charge on Morgul. Look at him go flying. Look at him go flying. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, but just look how much damage we were able to pump into this Gorball. Obviously, the Black Orcs and the All-Boy Biggins were helping out a wee bit, but yeah, just pumping in there as much damage from that range as we can. And here comes 2 Vanguarded units coming in, jumping on top of those rusty arrows. And these boys chasing off my archers. Away we go, boys. All right, one Gorball's routed out, so that's one of the threats gone. As you can see, my infantry's just actually bashing right through here. Because of that Doom and Darkness we put down here, we're able to rout out these units quite easily. As you can see, they're still relatively healthy, but routed out. And basically, these guys have got nothing left to fight against, right? And as you can see, I've got quite a lot of troops left. We've got a summon coming in here, Chaos Spawn summon coming in, but we're still pumping out the damage from range, because obviously, being on guard mode, they can still pump out as much damage as possible. Oh, very, very good. This other Gorball is just absolutely just getting swamped because, again, Doom and Darkness pushed away 3 of his units. That allowed, I think it was 2 of my units to actually push through and just overwhelm all the stuff in the centre. These guys that were on this flank just outperformed and out-held this side, so we were able to, again, just able to push in. And, yeah, our middle just held for as long as possible, which is what they were there for, and we're able to just bash in, just do as much damage as we can, eliminate the threats as best we can, and obviously the threats were those Gorballs. Getting that one out early was obviously very, very good, as they're coming in here to try and drop off a wee bit of damage, which is amazing. Let's go. Come on, Orcs. We can do it. I do really like this piggy pick. I think they're a very, very strong unit, especially when combined with another unit. Put them with a unit of spearmen or something, you've got anti-large, armor piercing, all that type of good stuff. Piggies are just so good. But matching up against Black Orcs pretty much outperform anything that the Beastmen can bring as far as melee forces go, right? Black Orcs just so damn good. Just so damn good. They'll beat Beast Herd any day of the week, right? Gobbo, come back. You're not doing anything over there. Right, we've managed to pull this unit of Rusty Arrows out. He's still being chased by this Goreherd, which was the 2 Vanguarded ones. So they're still running in here, just trying to shut down these archers as best they can. Managed to get a lovely charge on the back here with these All-Boy Biggins. Just smashing there. And as you can see, we're kind of just reforming up here, trying to get all these forces back together. Of course, we've got Azag in this matchup with his Fear and Terror, so that really, really helps us out, right? Especially against the low leadership units of the Beastmen. Same with the Greenskins. All their units are low leadership. Fear and Terror are both something that both factions really struggle against. So if you can bring something that actually causes Fear and Terror in this matchup, on either side actually, it's actually really good help. Really good help. Morgul tanking like he always would. Poison damage, regen. Oh, he's so hard to bring down, that bugger. He's so hard to bring down. We're just trying to get over here and save the last of our archers if we can. As they're coming in, again, we just want to cause as much fear and terror in there as well. We'll hopefully get a rear charge on that one as well. Let's go, boys. Okay, go. Go. Oh, Azag just shooting down there. I'm not doing any cinematic shots because I want to notice the health bars and the morale bars and all that type of stuff. So you can see, just how fast they actually drop off. Oh, those rusty arrows just got destroyed. Damn, they went down fast. Fast. Right, now here I'm actually dropping a non-overcasted Doom and Darkness just to route this unit out here as fast as possible because I want to get back over here and start helping on Morgul, right? So this dude's now routed. Look how fast he routed. Again, Fear, Terror, so good against the Beastmen and against the Greenskins. He's routing out with half his life remaining. That's kind of ridiculous, right? It's kind of ridiculous. Right, got the 8 peak loonies coming in and a unit of Alt-Boy Biggins coming in. Now, I should talk about why I took the Alt-Boy Biggins, I suppose. Normally, I'd take Savage Alt Biggins, right? because of that 30% physical resist, which is obviously very, very good against the Beastmen. But in this instance, I just didn't have enough money to get 4 units of Savage Orc Biggins. So I could get 3 and then spend a couple $100 on something else, or I could have got 4 units of Orc War Biggins. So that's basically why I did that. 4 units of high damage units versus 3, although the 3 units would be a bit more tanky. I just wanted to really go for the more high damage and just be able to push through the flanks and stuff a lot faster. So that's basically the only reason I brought the Orc War Biggins as opposed to the Savage Orc Biggins for this matchup. But Savage Orc Biggins work actually better, but like I say, they are slightly more expensive. An extra $100 on top of the standard Orc Biggins. So up to you what you want to take. We could have dropped off a unit of archers and then maybe get 4 Savage Orc Biggins. That is a way to do it, but I always like to bring 3 of the wee gobbos if we can. Alright, this is where the real strength of Morgul comes in, right? He's such a hard lord to bring down. Like, again, with that poison damage that he does, his natural regen, which is obviously very good, and obviously the ability to summon in Chaos Spawn, etc. Absolutely amazing. It's so good. He's such a good lord. I mean, he's not going to beat all this, but he is such a good lord, right? He is such a good lord. Yeah, smash that off, and obviously just the 2 Chaos Spawn remaining. These other 2 are going to rout off quite easily. Yeah, they're gone. Just the Savage Orcs. I'm not sorry, the Savage Orcs. Just the Chaos Spawn remaining. Get in there, boys. We'll fast forward through this last bit because it's just 1 unit remaining, right? And they're just going to go down. They're just going to go down. So yeah, this is one example. Like I say, removing your weakness to your opponent, which is obviously having a lord on the ground. That is how we kind of counter it. And I think Aztec is probably the best lord you can bring for this matchup anyway, just because obviously you get Doom and Darkness as well. And both these factions suffer from fear, terror, low leadership. So yeah, I think this is just really good. Look at the damage on these guys. 151, 141 on that dude, 91 on that Black Orc, 61 and 54 on the cavalry respectively. That's pretty good. 40 on the Unbreakables, which is okay. 41 on Aztec again, which is okay. A lot of damage coming out from this Gorehead. I believe these 2 are the ones that were vanguarded, right? 138 and 90. That's basically all archer kills on that. So that's actually really good for them. 26 and 17 kills respectively on the Gorbles. But because we had a lord in the air once again, no real good targets for the Gorbles to jump on top of. For those of you who are wondering, like if that happens to you, you're on this side of the coin, and there's no real good like lord targets for your Gorbles to attack, don't forget that they are anti-large, so you can chuck them in against cavalry, and they do very, very well against cavalry. Yes, this cavalry is anti-large themselves, and these guys are large. I believe they count as large. They will actually beat most cavalry. 1 Gorble against 1 unit of cav. They will actually beat most cavalry in the game. So yeah, that's the other use you can use for them, which is very, very good. 42 kills on his Brave Shaman of Death there. 43 on Morgul as well. Very, very good. Not a lot of kills on that front line, but again, we kind of pushed it really fast with these guys. And of course, that Doom and Darkness on our right-hand flank, we was able to just smash on them as fast as possible. Awesome. All right, guys, that is today's multiplayer video. Any questions you have about, strategies against the Beastmen or whatever, just leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll try and answer them. In the comment section, I won't make another video about it, but I will try and answer them for you guys. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.